Hello, and welcome to the Kickstart Your Confidence 21-Day Global Summit. We would like to welcome you and let you know that we will begin shortly. We are live from Victoria, BC, Canada. Let us know where you're attending from in the comments. We also wanted to share our content note with you and remind folks that the information that is provided herein is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This information is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease, but to inform you, the participant, of alternative methods for healing. In all health-related situations, qualified healthcare professionals should always be consulted. Some of our experts are doctors, naturopaths, and other medical professionals. However, you are encouraged to consult your own healthcare professional. In other words, no doctor-patient relationship is informed or suggested at any time during the series. Please also keep in mind that the host finds a lot of information from credible third parties and shares it here in this online forum when it is relevant. By participating in this online event, you acknowledge and agree that the third-party content is not created by the host and is shared with you, the participant, for educational, entertainment, and informational purposes only. And in no way do they guarantee a pledge or endorsement by the host for you, the participant, to take action on what the third party suggests or recommend on their sites or in their interviews. Please understand that this event provides general information only and is never a substitute for professional and medical advice. Most importantly, please consult your healthcare provider if you suspect a serious health concern. Always seek the advice of your mental health professional or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding your condition. Your health is your wealth. Don't delay in taking the proper steps in saving your life. By the same token, we are also not providing any financial advice during this series. A summit, online forum, workshop, event is meant to inform. Taking action for your own health, finances, and life is meant to create change. Never disregard professional advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard or read that was shared during the online summit. Our platform provides an open and safer space for the critical and civil exchange of ideas that aren't often talked about when it comes to menopause and aging. Some content in this series will include topics and themes that some viewers may find difficult. We will always do our best to give you a proper heads up to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally beforehand. Thank you so much and welcome and enjoy today's show. Welcome to Kickstart Your Confidence. Learn useful secrets to manage and prepare for a happy menopause without breaking a sweat, losing sleep, or opportunity. My name is Tira Green, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Adjoa Sehkmet, Lisa M Jean-Pierre. Now, Adjoa, Lisa Marie, is someone who is she just has so much to bring to the table, but she is the founder and the creator of Goddess on the Go, and they feature non-traditional and traditional beauty products, wellness services, and also provide small business consulting services as well. What I really want to just make it very clear and just really highlight is that she really caters to the needs of women of color and people of color, which I think is quite important. And so I wanted to bring her on to just share her perspectives. And today we're going to be talking about the body, and everyone has a body. So everybody, please welcome Lisa Marie.
Greetings. Thank you, Tara. Thank you
Yeah,
again for this opportunity.
my pleasure. It's so glad that we can get you here. I know we're both a little tired, but we're gonna
Yeah.
make this work, right?
Yes, indeed.
So I first want to just start off with this thing that is really important, and that is when we are in spaces and we are, looking around and seeing if there are folks that are around us that look like us or maybe identify with us, whether they look like us or not. There's just
Yeah.
some kind of representation, that matters. Why is it important for you to really focus on the needs of women of color?
Um, just quietly existing for so many years, it's come to a breaking point or a boiling point, I think, for myself, and breaking out of that shell of conformity and not being heard or seen. We're supposed to just quietly go by and do the things in life for other people and progress and have these accolades, and we diminish ourselves throughout that whole process. And I wanted to kind of polarize the importance of us, seeing ourselves.
Yes, yes. And so when we're talking about menopause, a lot
Hmm.
of the dialogue is, it's not existent. Let's just put it there. First of all,
Whew,
you know,
lies.
and then it's BS, and then it's just it's not existent, it's confusing. And
Hmm.
then especially when it comes to women of color, there's even less information, right? Or brown or
Yes,
indigenous folks. So what can
yes.
you say to someone who is not a person of color, who is not Black and BIPOC, Black, indigenous person of color,
Hmm.
to help support and really just stand next to us as we're moving through this menopause journey?
Balance. Balance is the key. You have to make sure that you are putting your balance as a priority. Menopause is a beast. We all know that, and that's a nice way for me to put it. But we have to definitely bring more balance into how we take care of ourselves, how we address that showing up in our lives, and not try to, skirt it, bury it, and make it seem like it's not an important priority because now it is. It has polarized itself in your life. Now you have to give it the attention that it needs so you can better, deal with it and your life.
Right on.
So
And so
balance.
balance. So let's talk
Hmm.
about balance. So you mentioned that you wanted to share a little bit about body balance. So can we
Yes.
dive into that?
Oh, yeah. For me, being on this journey for so long, I say that I never really felt comfortable in my body. And as menopause came along, it made me more aware of that discomfort. It made me more aware that I didn't really honor my feminine. I didn't really honor my masculine. And here it is, this thing that's coming to change how I do all of that. It's causing me the stress, the discomfort, the uncomfortability so that I can change those things that I have not been addressing. So whether it's my weight, whether it's something else external of myself, it's now really pushing me to take action. So that's what I feel menopause really does for us. It opens our eyes and opens us up to our power that we have been hiding from.
Hmm. And everyone has a body, right? And so we can't really hide from our body. So what are some of
Yeah,
the ways that I know that you do, like from beauty, non-traditional to traditional, you do
right.
this. So how have you been able to, I don't know, empower your body to move through this in a gentler way, if you will?
And it comes with ebbs and flows. I really have to just be transparent and say that it has not been a straight line. I've had the moments where I was totally 100% on my routine and disciplined and consistent, and then I had those moments where I wasn't, and I had to allow myself the ebb and the flow with it. You're in and out of how this shows up in your life. So better healing practices, showing up for yourself, setting aside those times, dedicating self-care, not just the physical, the internal, the way you eat, how you speak to yourself, how you speak to others, how you allow others to speak to you. It's all a part of bringing that balance back so that you can own your body. You can stand in your truth, in yourself.
Here, here.
Yeah.
And so I want to now just kind of talk about something that a
Mhm.
lot of us may or may not have experienced, not even just getting into our menopause journey, but
Right.
younger. And I think it's
Mhm.
happening more and more, and that is around body dysmorphia. So do you want to share something around that?
Yes, I still at this age do not feel comfortable in my own skin. So I can understand how others, after an up and down cycle of weight loss, weight gain, they can feel that way because we have this aspiration of how we expect ourselves to look after we do this thing or after we lose all this weight. And then life has another, reality that it brings to us. And, getting comfortable with that, it's difficult because the mind is attached to a particular identity and you haven't released that yet. You haven't let that part go so that the new you that's showing up for you, can really emerge and be accepted. So that's where I'm practicing more of that acceptance of honoring the body that I'm in, encouraging others to do the same, no matter where you are on that journey. Just accept it. Whatever you see is bad, whatever you see is good, accept all of it and just allow it to change you.
Mhm. And what are some practical ways that you can tap into acceptance?
Self talk. Watch how you talk to yourself. And I said this to myself last night. The clothes that I like, I'm going to put them on when I'm at home and wear them and see how they make me feel, regardless of if I'm big or fat. The things that I really, excuse me for saying fat, these are words that are so shaming, but just flow in whatever it is. Get naked, take all of your clothes off and stand there and look at yourself and see what it is that you love about you. Don't listen to the voices telling you that's too big, that's too small. What are you thinking about that? Tear away all of those labels that you use to anchor yourself in your pain of discomfort and see yourself for who you are. Wonderfully made in every single way.
Yes. Oh, that's so powerful. I often wonder if mirrors are good things for us or if they're not. Do you, when you're thinking about, healing and
Mm-hmm.
finding acceptance, do you recommend folks looking into the mirror and doing gazing or just shutting the mirror off?
I shut the mirror off, and I think this spirit kind of led me to that several months ago. I stopped looking in the mirror, and I get a lot of signs because I'm moving in that direction. The lights in my bathroom went out. So I couldn't see the mirror. And I said, okay. So what I started doing was when I went into the bathroom, I would just look at the mirror and I would say, I give thanks for all the positive, thoughts that I have for myself. And if there's any negative thoughts, I return them. So even if it's from myself that I'm sending negative things to myself, I have to reflect that back to me. And not looking in the mirror allowed me to go deeper within myself to see the things that I like about myself without seeing who I am physically.
So interesting, and it's funny
Mm.
because I definitely am an intuitive. I'm very
Hmm.
dialed in. And I don't know why
Hmm.
I needed to ask that question, but I do
Yeah.
know that I've grown up where I don't really look into the mirror much, but and even when you were talking about putting on clothes, sometimes
Yeah.
I don't look at what it looks like. I look at what
Right.
it feel like, as you said, right?
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
half the time I come out and someone will say, "Oh, your shirt's on backwards, tags out," and I'm like, "Oh, I had no idea. It felt fine, so I didn't,
Yeah.
like." And that's in my adult years. That's not even just like as a child, right? So,
Right.
um, what are some other ways that you have found that have really been healing for you to just not look at yourself as, this external being, but as a whole being?
I would say calling my power back to myself. We give so much away to others, and those are also the pieces that give us the insecurity. So calling back the powerful things that we know we need within ourselves back to us, so that we can show up again and have that security, that courage, that strength to
Mhm.
stand in who we are, in our power.
Mhm.
So a
So,
lot of just retraining the mind. Sorry for interrupting you. Retraining the mind. Speaking to myself gracefully, allowing others to do the same, allowing others to pay me compliments and accept them. Be open to receiving the recognition for your hard work from others, whatever it may look like.
yeah. So when you're saying, that you're like, for example, allowing the compliments in, is there an energetic shift that you went through to be able to say, I'm going to let these things in and just to be able to accept them and say thank you and versus, deflecting back or saying, oh, you did great too, one of those things.
Yeah, it's just thinking back to childhood things, releasing a lot of those things, a lot of healing work, knowing what the triggers are when they show up, and just saying, hey, you're not coming for me this time. I know what that is. So it's just, again, reprogramming myself and how I choose to hear what is said to me about me, in any capacity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And for your okay, so I'm not in the beauty space, right? And I
Right.
very rarely do I put on a little bit of like eyelash stuff. What do you call it? I don't even know what it's called. Mascara. Like that's how far removed I am. But
Right.
what got me was that you do non-traditional and traditional beauty
Hmm.
products. So can you just bring us in a little bit about that?
Yeah, when you said beauty space, I'm not here, walking around like I'm shishi foo foo. I am licensed in skincare, and that's one of the things that drove me to help, um, create products for myself and other women. But not on the sense of this is going to make you this. I'm coming from a standpoint of women that have real issues when they wake up, things that have caused them, a lot of distress and discomfort, hormonally or otherwise. That's the focus of the products that I create. So for mature skin, for women that have acne, rosacea, these are real issues. And the products are natural, non-toxic, and they get the job done. And that's kind of why I think I'm just very quiet with what I have to offer, because it's very dear to my heart. It's very it's a part of my passion and my purpose. So
Yeah, I feel that. And
mhm.
I think it's nice because in this world where, there's like social media and you have to be pretty packaged and like, and some of us are just like, I want to be on social media, but like I don't do all that,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like it's just that just don't do that. So
Yeah,
um how do you navigate that where you're just being who you are and and yes, you do have these beauty products that actually help folks and not just glamorize you, even though that's not a bad thing to be glamorized.
right,
How do you just navigate that feeling of like, okay, I'm doing something in a different way in the beauty space, right? That's actually for
mhm.
the good.
I stopped looking at social media. I stopped looking at what other people are doing. It's great again to connect with others in your community that can help to uplift you, but sometimes it can overshadow what you're doing. So I stopped looking at what others are doing that's similar to my work, so that it doesn't cause me any type of conflict and take away from the work that I'm doing. But I also use what they do as inspiration, as a benchmark for this is something that is continuously growing in whatever industry I'm applying my talents to. So staying off social media, writing things down, honing in my practices and my purposes, getting better habits and discipline, just staying there and not giving up on what I initially started to do, what was the purpose and my plan. Because we can all do that along the journey. We can deviate. And I've done that a lot. So it's just going back to the plan that has not ever failed.
Hmm. And has that plan been inside of you for since youth or since
Oof.
the menopause started? Well, like, come on, bring us. We're getting deep today. Come on now.
I will say it started with my first birthing experience. So that was, 20 plus years ago when I had my first child, and all of the creativity started to come out, and life allowed me to block it. I jumped right back into the wheel and getting things done and all the other things that take precedence over self-discovery and finding your way and all that stuff. So
Wow. But now is it because of just having a little more time when you're in menopause to like, think about yourself? Is that what's really moving you forward, or
oh,
is there
this was
something?
a fight. This was
Yeah.
a fight. Okay. I didn't do this willingly the last
The
way.
hero's journey, everybody. We don't go just happily.
No, we don't. We don't. I fought against it. And the last couple of years, things just started to shift and I just surrendered. And when something changes, I just surrender because I realize that it's here to teach. I can take what I need from it and keep moving. But every time I stop, it takes away from everything that is left forward for me to gain.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's so powerful. This thing about surrender, like I like to take control of the wheel, and I know where
Yeah,
I'm going, right? And
yeah, yeah,
then life has a whole completely different plan, right? So
yeah.
the process of surrendering for you, how did you get to that level of okay, just let it be?
And people trying to tell me which way my life should go, whether it's family or otherwise, and just constantly never being enough for others. And just having that be the constant message in my mind, I realized that I couldn't do that. And I had to think about myself in a selfish way. And that is okay.
And so that became this surrender for you to just
Yes.
allow yourself to just be as you are because you are enough. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Yes. And I had, again, challenges with family, things that happened with family, and I let them go. You know, I
Hmm.
didn't hold on to the outcome of anything that I couldn't fix, anything that had already happened. Accepting, like you said, surrendering, accepting everything that I couldn't change, accepting everything that happened for my greater good, whether I saw it that way or not,
Ooh,
you
yeah.
know, and just letting the emotion go from that thing to be able to keep moving forward.
Wow, so right now, as entrepreneurs in this new
Hmm.
shifting economy, there's tons of just confusion and noise, and you're a lot of folks, especially if we're in the throngs of menopause, we're like, well, what's
Yes.
next? What am I going to do? And then it just seems like there's a weight lifted off when you can just surrender and just say, you know what? I can't control everything, but who I am, right? I can do for
Yeah.
myself, my body, whatever, but that's basically all I can really do.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what has happened with you?
Yes. I was forced to stop, in so many ways. And that's the hardest thing when you're, micromanaging, when you grow up in that environment to do everything all the time and you never know how to stop. So learning how to stop and be still and all of those things is a great challenge and something I anchor in every day.
So when you talk about stillness, are you speaking about meditative stillness or just literally being still?
Both, both. When I do anything, it's the practice of meditation. So getting up and doing something in my home, I allow that to be a practice of meditation to get me out of my thoughts that can be distracting. So, it's just doing something with purpose, allowing it to mold me, whatever it is. If even if I'm going to the kitchen to get a cup of tea, I walk and I'm contemplating something just to kind of keep me in that same energy.
Hmm.
Because
That's
the mind can be distracting as we're doing stuff, and we take everything for granted, those little moments, and you can use them all.
That's such a great, yeah, that's such a great tool because
Hmm.
I'm trying to think when I'm going to the kitchen to, let's see, get my tea, am I
Hmm.
thinking about what am I thinking about? So now it's a level of intentionality and just being
Yeah.
intentional and mindful in the spaces that
Yeah.
we are so that we
Yeah.
can like just be more calm, more like what are the feelings around that?
Just peacefulness, peace of mind. I would say that, we get up and we have 20,000 things in our thoughts of what we have to get accomplished that day. I get up and I give thanks. And from that moment of thanks, I just leave everything and allow the day to flow to me. Even though I have plans written down, I have agendas set, all these things, I still allow the day to flow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And do you set intentions? Do you do intentions or like how
Oh,
do you
yeah.
set off on your day? I know gratitude is one thing you mentioned, but
Yes. And again, I give myself grace with all of this because it's all set up, but it's not every day that I get there. I'm human, just like the rest of us. But I have a gratitude journal by my bed. I have all of these things you see beside me, a book with an intention and a purpose for some area of my life that I want to focus on. So I write it all down. I dive into it, may not be every day, but as often as the thoughts come to me and I put them there and I return to it as often as I can to remind myself of the intentions and the goals that I set for myself.
mm.
Yeah.
And how often do you go back and you say, "Oh, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that."
Every few days, every few days. Like I said, I catch myself. I allow myself grace, but I keep myself accountable. I have a vision board that is in front of me if I could show you, but I could show you there. I don't know how to work these things. And if you don't know, now you know.
Uh,
But I'm going to show you. And this is just right here. So it's something else that allows me to visually see my intentions. Each section, is related to a path in my life. And I use it to help me to remember that everything. And yeah, that's kind of it.
well, thank
So
you for sharing that. That's awesome. Go ahead.
yeah, I I'm not perfect at this. I don't think any of us are, but the more that we can tune into what is working, what is not, makes the journey a lot easier for us all.
And especially visually too, I think that
Hmm.
really does help because I do vision boards as well, and maybe some
Yeah.
folks haven't done a vision board. So can you explain a
Right.
bit about that process, so just in case if someone's never heard of that or one?
Okay, sure. A vision board is it's kind of like a visual intention of your goals, your aspirations for yourself, whether it's personal, professional, relationship wise. And what you can do is write down those intentions and put it someplace where you can see them. Use pictures, use images, things to stimulate your excitement for seeing that thing manifest into your life, seeing that thing birth into your reality, on a more physical level. So it's giving you that motivation that you can do this thing regardless of whatever is going on outside of you. I hope
Yeah.
that made sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, and I think,
Mhm.
it's what I'm gathering is that you have a lot of tools that you use that are very practical. And
Yeah.
one of the tools is allowing yourself grace and just being like, first of all, you had these messages of you're never going to be good enough. And then you've allowed yourself to say, you know what? I'm pretty good enough as I am. you know, and
Exactly.
and now moving through that, moving in grace, it's like you're able to have the space to journal, to reflect, to move forward, to envision, to grasp onto higher calling, even
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Exactly. Everything you said, all of the above.
I mean, for me, that's very inspiring and encouraging because, I feel like as we're moving through this menopause stage, there's a lot of the rhetoric of it's the end of your life, it's the end of your journey. And we don't know that.
Yeah, that is such a farce. Is there another word? Like when I first told my mother that I was going through menopause, she laughed at me. And I was like, what? She laughed at me. And I said, okay, I'm gonna show you. you know,
Oh,
it's like she
no.
knew this wicked secret, and I finally had an in on it, and she was just like, oh, here it comes. And I said, no, no way.
That is so interesting that she laughed. But yet, did she tell you anything about what was coming before you realized it was coming?
No, she didn't say a word. So here it is. I'm digging, and I asked her. She's like, well, and I'm like, oh gosh. I don't know if you're familiar with island people. Island people are very specific and particular. That's your business. You figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was her mentality. And I said, no, I'm not figuring it out. I'm getting help. I'm trying to find all the resources and the tools that I need because this will not be the downfall of me, as so many other women have kind of allowed it to be,
Mm.
whether indirectly or not.
That it's so interesting because I am someone who I didn't grow up with a mother. I didn't grow up with
Hmm.
female figures in my immediate family. My grandma
Hmm.
passed away when I was 3 years old, and
Hmm.
then my mom, my dad took full custody when I was 5 months old. But it's like it seems like I didn't really miss much because even if you had a mom, they didn't really tell you much until you got there. A lot of times for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, and I can see the perspective of where they were coming from. They didn't know either. They didn't know those lessons to teach us. So how were they going to impart that to us? So it's kind of like, all right, you got to figure it out. I didn't know what I was doing either. So, and you know that.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, here we are now in, this new world of where
Hmm.
we're speaking about it more, and hopefully we're speaking about it in a way that's not, the BS, and it's not like the plastic sugar coated way, right? We're just really just being
Exactly.
honest, right? And transparent. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's where it seems like that's where we are now. Do you feel that way?
Yes, yes, definitely. Definitely. Women are tired, men are tired too. So we're all tired of this conversation not happening,
Mm.
and there's so many voices being given to other topics and other things that are important. This one needs it as well, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And and I feel like the more I chat with these speakers and experts like such as
Hmm.
yourself, it's all the same thing of we got to share our stories. We have to talk. Let's talk about it. And
Hmm.
I feel like, for someone who, I'm not yet really fully in my menopause, but it's like being proactive at least, it's going to give me a head start on something on whatever's going to happen, right? And
Oh,
so
yes.
for you, do you feel like if you had the information that you had now, would you have much preferred it then, or are you happy that you've gotten the information as you've gone now, just on your own path and your own journey and timing?
I think nothing happens before its time and everything happens exactly as it's supposed to. So every lesson that's for me is for me. And I shouldn't have learned it then. It wasn't for me. It's for me now. So understanding and learning that and knowing that is a good thing right now.
100%.
Yeah.
So, as we are kind of moving towards the end of our conversation, which I'm just
Hmm.
really enjoying,
Hmm.
is there a specific message that you would really want folks to hear, that you want to share as we're going through this menopause journey? And I'll even say, if you want to speak directly to our BIPOC folk, our women of
Hmm.
color, and then if
Yeah.
you also want to speak to everyone at large, you can feel free to do that.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna make this a blanket thing for everyone. Better that way. Be balanced in your bliss. Be balanced in your mess. Allow yourself to own whatever it is because you are in control of changing it ultimately. You got this. You are in control. Nothing has come to defeat you. It's only come to challenge you to show you how great you really are. And that's all, folks.
That's all. Beneath, beneath, beneath. That's all, folks. That's it. I mean,
I'm
was that
sorry.
the kids do what the mic drop? I don't know what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess that was it. Yeah.
Well, that's lovely. And how can people find you if they want to stay connected to you?
Sure, you can reach me online on my website at lisamariejeanpierre.com. All of my socials are there. So just reach out. I have a YouTube and other social platforms as well, but my social media is lisamariejeanpierre.com. That is my home online.
That is your home online in the digital space. Very good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, thank you so much. I am really just appreciative of you just taking time, Adjoa, Lisa
Mhm.
Marie, to just have a conversation, right? There was this, we talked about the body and just something that is really important to all of us because we all have a body, right? And
Yes,
finding
yes,
that balance. And I just think that that's such a great perspective for me to realize as well as like, we can find balance within our bodies and live stronger, happier lives through that.
yes.
So thank you so much. And I
Thank
guess
you.
we'll continue this offline, but thank you for being here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Same to you.
Right, bye.
All right, bye bye.